So I am with Mr. Josh and David Heath. Josh is a newer part-time agent with the Ford Insurance Group selling face-to-face, buying his own leads, who's had some massive success initially, again, on a part-time basis. And the reason I'm bringing him on here is to really help you guys out there in the audience to better understand what it's really like to get started in the final expense business, what it's like to buy leads, run leads face-to-face, the kind of ups and downs that one will experience as a new agent, and to really just more or less summarize how to get going in the final expense business on a successful footing. It's so important to do that in this business, ladies and gentlemen, because guess what? 90% plus of the final expense agents and really just all insurance agents fail out in their first 12 months. Training, support, leads is so critical. And what we do at the Ford Insurance Group is go all into the mentorship and training side of the business. And we're going to try to, again, cast how we do that and how Josh has seen some early success. So I've also got David Heath on here. He is our face-to-face broker trainer for those people who are buying leads, selling face-to-face. Say hello, David.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Josh.
And Josh,
Good morning.
say hello and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you jumped into the final expense business.
My name is Josh Noblick. I live in Northwest Indiana, about 45 minutes southeast of Chicago. And I always knew I wanted to do sales. I've always worked in the trades. I paint houses right now. I work for the family business. My mom started the business in 2008 when everything went down. My dad lost his job. Then my parents got divorced. So, this has been our family's baby. This is how we've been provided for. And now I'm a full grown man and I'm doing the painting and my mom is, doing the administrative stuff. But I didn't want to be sucking in paint fumes for another 30 years. And I really love walking into someone's home every other day or whatever and transforming their home, just bringing them value and getting to meet new people. And so I knew I wanted to go somewhere where I could do that, and where my income potential was high. And I refused to go to college and get a 4-year degree. So I was like, what sales job can I get that I have the highest upside potential and the lowest barrier to entry? And after doing a bunch of research, life insurance just seemed like a perfect fit. So.
And why did you go with the final expense market instead of, say, mortgage protection or IULs or some other product like that?
For one, it's the easiest to understand. So, it's you die and you get paid. It's a pretty simple concept. Obviously, there is some things that are a little bit more complicated than that, as far as graded, modified, that kind of stuff. But it's really easy to understand. And that market is not going to be affected by the economy. So it's not, reliant upon how many people are buying homes, and, interest rates, you name it. So, at the end of the day, the same fragment of people that need life insurance is going to be there. And if anything, it's growing. So.
Right. So growing market, less affected by recession, which right now in 2023 is kind of all the rage, all the talk, right? Is the market going to collapse? Real estate is softening. It's important to be in a business model that is a little bit more immune from that. And final expense certainly serves that up. So you mentioned something that, again, may be a little unusual to agents in 2023 is that you sell face-to-face. Whereas most agents now are interested in the remote model. We support both equally. We have trainers on the telesales side as well as face-to-face at the Ford Insurance Group. But you chose the face-to-face market. Can you give us some explanation why you chose face-to-face instead of doing remote or telesales work in final expense?
To be honest with you, this might vary from individual to individual, but for me personally, I just feel like me walking through your door is going to beat your voice on the phone 9.5 times out of 10. There's just something different about being in front of another human being, looking them in the eye and, asking them for a minute of their time. It's totally different than being on the phone. And for me, my personal opinion, if I was going the telesales route, I feel like being on the phone eliminates basically every advantage that I have standing across from somebody. So,
and my thinking too is, again, we see success in both. It's a different skill set, and we teach agents to pick one horse and ride it, do all telesales or all face-to-face. But there is something to be said about the, situation we're in society now, where more and more is being done remotely. There's less and less hands-on one-on-one support and service. And I think, ironically, the old-fashioned way probably works a little bit better. What do you think on that, David? Why do you do? And David Heath, again, is our face-to-face trainer. He's out there selling face-to-face. He teaches agents to sell face-to-face, and you've continuously sold face-to-face. What's your thoughts on the strategy of selling face-to-face as it relates to over-the-phone sales?
Well, I'm just like Josh, David. I like the personal part of it. I really think that selling face to face, you're able to create a thicker bond with your client. We're always leaving cards, putting a magnet on the refrigerator. We've got a touch. Over the phone, and during COVID, we all had to try over the phone, whether we wanted to or not at some point. And I did okay over the phone. But I'll be honest, I personally missed that touch and the bond that I created with my clients. And I didn't feel that I created as good of a bond, and you have to try even harder to create that bond in telesales. And I don't know, in the short period of time that I did it, because soon as they kind of opened the doors up here in Tennessee, I was right back out in the field.
Right.
I didn't wait, but I do think what Josh is saying is right, as far as that's my feeling also. And then they know they've got a real person, and when they have a problem, they have your phone number. They call you, you answer the phone, you come back out to their house to service their need. And I think that just keeps our retention rate up.
Sure, for sure. 100% agreed. So also, Josh sells part-time. A lot of people are looking to get into the insurance business as a side hustle or something in addition to what they're doing in their normal 9-to-5 job. Tell us, Josh, what is it like to sell part-time on a sell final expense on a part-time basis?
can you elaborate on that a little bit? What is it like?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. So I guess a better way to put the question would be, how are you able to sell part-time? If you can kind of walk us through what your schedule looks like, how do you take what you're selling now in your normal business, your family business? How do you fit final expense into that? I think it would help the audience better understand, okay, is it possible to do part-time? If so, giving us kind of some examples of how you make it work for you would be helpful.
Yeah, it's absolutely possible. Regardless of what job you have, if you work 40 hours a week, even if you work 60 hours a week, the life insurance business, it's your business. No one's going to call you and tell you, hey man, where you at? Like, there's nobody doing that. You have to hold yourself accountable. And I guess it depends on, that could be a blessing and a curse depending on how you look at it. The way I look at it is that's a massive blessing, because some people just won't do it. And so
we know?
Yeah. And in that regard, I mean, good. I hope they don't. It's
Right.
just less competition for me. And so I could work 60 hours this week painting. I could work 10 hours today and 10 hours tomorrow. That still gives me all day Sunday to go out and door knock. And if I have 25, 30 leads, you could easily knock that in a day if you get out there at 9 a.m. So what's it like? It does take discipline, because again, no one's going to call you and tell you, hey, it's time to get up, time to make some phone calls, time to knock on some doors. But on the flip side, you couldn't possibly have more freedom. And so in that regard, it couldn't be better.
So you're telling us before we started, you're selling Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Now, are you calling? Are you door knocking? what's kind of your mix of prospecting, and you're buying leads too, just so the audience knows, what's your mix of
Yeah.
prospecting to get in front of those leads?
So I typically have anywhere between 25 and 40 leads to work. So that being said, if you want to knock 25, 30 leads, that's not going to take you 3 days. So I'll use Friday to call, try to set some appointments. I'll call them all 3 times a piece. Hopefully I can set a couple my first time through. Then I'll call them again 3 times a piece again later on in the day. Hopefully set some more. I really need to call them another round of 3 times. I need to call them 9 times on a Friday. But to be honest with you, I haven't been. That's the beautiful thing about this, though, is there's always room for improvement. And you know what that is, what you need to be doing. So that's one adjustment that I will make. I've been dialing on Friday, and then I just go out and knock them on Saturday and Sunday. And if I have appointments, then I'll run those appointments at whatever time they're set, obviously. Regardless of what you say to me on the phone, I'm still gonna knock on your door. So you're gonna have to tell me no to my face. And that's how I get to the bottom of every lead.
So a big thing I've learned, and really we're doing a lot more of these type of interviews with agents who've seen some success, is that it seems that some of the audience that watches this is a little bit nervous of showing up at somebody's home. They're worried about the potential consequences. Can you kind of describe what your experience has been like so far, door knocking your leads? Again, we're not cold calling here, audience. We're taking leads people have expressed interest in and showing up at their house. What's that experience been like for you this first couple of weeks selling?
It's not always pleasant, that's for sure. And I mean, I still do. I don't want to do it. Especially when I'm pulling up to someone's house who is not very happy with me on the phone. But it is what it is. I mean, what's the worst that could happen? You know what I mean? They're not going to punch you. I've had a few people tell me some pretty unpleasant things. But I just say, okay, have a good one, man. I get back in my car and I go to the next house. Like, no one's going to shoot you. No one's going to kill you. No one's going to hurt you. It's really not that bad. So.
And the nice thing about what you're doing, and David, I'm gonna have you chime in on this and your experience with Josh on this. I hope you guys in the audience are listening to Josh's mindset. Like, this stuff doesn't bother him, the fact that they say no to him. Because why? He's got 30, 40 other leads sitting around waiting for him to show up to buy. For every one person that's a total jerk, there's 5 buyers, 10 buyers. I mean, there really is a lot more pleasant people to deal with than there are the rude a-holes that are out there. And the nice thing is, hopefully, Josh, you appreciate the people who are rude. We call those people agent killers. They help thin the herd because there's a lot of people who are too tied up in the emotion of getting rejected. And those people will continue to send in leads and fill out forms on Facebook and scream and yell at agents, and they'll quit the business because it hurts so much. And that's less competition, like you said earlier on. David, you want to add anything on the mindset of door knocking leads successfully? Because I think it's something that really needs to be harped on for new agents.
Yes. Well, and I just want to say I appreciate Josh because, in the program, that's one thing we have talked about and talked about and talked about is mindset, and then getting in your vehicle, driving over there and doing it, not just talking about doing it. And I've been doing it a long time, and every now and then I still get a little queasy feeling, especially if I've talked to them and they hung up on me. And I get that. But I just want to say that Josh's mindset is one that we all should be trying to imitate, because he's got a great mindset. He understands that you have to get through so many no's before you get to a yes. That's just basic mathematics, folks. It works that way. But I do want to say that I appreciate Josh. And as far as the way he's handling it, he's running it just like I run it, just like I asked him to.
Josh, take us through the mentorship program. This is a new initiative we're doing at DeFord Insurance Group. We revamped the entire structure of how we train agents. And basically I just duplicated myself into some trusted agents that had managerial experience and certainly success and final expense, and basically gave them the responsibility of training agents on one-on-one basis, group basis. And I think the results have been outstanding, but I'd like to hear it from your perspective. What's it been like going through that training process with David?
Yeah, it's been awesome. It's just so nice to, no matter what you're doing, but especially with this, it's just really nice to be able to call somebody who's been there, done that, know that they're going to answer, they're going to get back to you, and they know what they're talking about. They're actively doing it. So it's kind of a priceless thing to have, especially in this business, because it does get pretty lonely. You're in your car by yourself. You're going to houses by yourself. When people are rude to you, you're getting back in your car and it's just you and your thoughts. So, sometimes it's nice to be able to give somebody a call and they're going through it too. And again, it's not that bad. We are not MMA fighters, getting in the car after we just hopped out of the cage and we're battered and bloody. Like, that's not what this is. So, but yeah, David's been you guys, both of your names are David. So for the audience, I'm talking about David Heath. He's been a huge asset to me. It's been extremely beneficial. He's given me, I don't even know how many hours we've spent on the phone together, just role playing, asking, what do I say to this? What do I say to that? He's always there. It's been really nice to have, for sure.
And here's the thing for the audience out there newer to the insurance business. What you're listening to is not the norm in the insurance business. The insurance business is an MLM Kool-Aid drinking scheme. It's a process to recruit anybody with a pulse, throw them to the wolves, and some will make it. The vast majority will not. And it's terrible. It's what gives this business a bad name. And we've repositioned ourselves to counter against that norm, which is just MLM. David, can you kind of expand on that with the realities of the insurance business and why training is so important?
Well, we have a 90 to 93% failure rate in this business, off the bat. So that lets us know something's not going right. And I feel that when you're in a group where you're not having the one-on-one training, you don't have someone to, and I know Josh said I don't hold him accountable. Yeah, I kind of do call and see what he's doing,
Yeah.
just to be nice. But I think when you get into an organization, and I've been there before, that didn't have a good training program, it makes you struggle. It makes you doubt yourself. It makes you doubt this business. And those are all thoughts that we do not want to have in our mind, because we've got to go out and door knock or call these people and present them some final expense policies. So I think just having somebody in your corner, and I've told them all, if you just want to call me and holler at me and scream at me, we're good with that too. Whatever you need me for is what I'm going to do for you. But I do want to tell Josh I appreciate it, because part-time is not easy to do this. You really have to hold yourself accountable to make
Part-time
it
with
work.
another business too. The
Yes,
demands of any
another
businesses
business.
are constant. Yeah.
Yeah.
So some final question for you, Josh, before we wrap it up. Again, lots of new agents or potential agents watching this. What would be some advice that you would give agents who are looking for a home or looking to have the best success that they can have in selling final expense?
If you're looking for a home, I would say join the Ford Insurance Group. Absolutely. I have been a part of another organization as well. So I'm not just, that's not a super biased opinion. Join Dave. And he didn't ask me to say that. That wasn't planned at all. I'm just being 100% honest with you. That's number one. It is extremely important where you go. And I can't stress that enough. And if you do go to the wrong place, you'll learn quick and it won't feel good. You will learn the hard way. Unfortunately, I am a person that does have to learn everything the hard way. It's how I've always been. I'm here now. So that's number one. Number two is just work. That's really all there is to it. You know, no one, it's not a job where, you know, if you're not there on time, boss man's in the office and he's, you know, looking at his watch and you walk in and he's asking, hey, what's going on? Why were you late? You know, if you don't make those phone calls, it's real easy. Like no one's gonna know. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the bottom line is, what you put into this is what you get out of it, and that's another reason why I wanted to do this, because I knew that going in. And I mean, I can work 80 hours this week painting, and I know exactly what I'm going to put in my pocket. I can work 20 hours selling insurance and literally match what I did in 80 hours painting. This might be the only business that you can do that on earth without a college degree or an IQ of 150. Because I'm not a genius. I really don't know where else you can. I look at this as a force multiplier. It's like taking like one of those leverage bars and standing back here and you know, cranking it from back there rather than trying to get that lug nut off your tire from 2 inches away. It's a lot easier from back there.
Right.
So I don't know, man. This is a great opportunity, but it all depends on how you see it, and that's really the bottom line.
Sure is. And that's what makes it great. I just wish more people knew about it. We tried our best to put out content all over the place because the insurance business is something you stumble across most of the times, not grow up to wish I could be the insurance man. But the money in it's great.
I didn't.
You did?
I didn't. No.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No.
Something's wrong. It's kind of weird to find somebody who's like, I can't wait to sell
Right.
insurance, but not that it's a bad thing. But that's how it all is for us. And that's what's cool about it. And the great thing about it is, I think you probably agree with me too, Josh, is that the fact that it's 100% your responsibility and the sky's the limit, it's empowering. With the right mindset is the fact that I can make so much and do so much if I put my time, money, and effort into this thing. You should be excited by that if truly deep down you're a true entrepreneur. And that's what this business gives you, really, that so many others don't. And thank you for being here, Josh and David. And guys, if you're interested in joining DeFord Insurance Group, it's very simple to learn more about how to do that. Go to daviddeford.com, click the FAQ link at the top of the page, read through the final expense section. Again, we train agents to sell final expense face-to-face, final expense over the phone. We also train agents to sell Medicare, ACA, and annuities. And those FAQ links will do a good job of explaining how things work. And then if you'd like to apply to join us to work with David Heath, Tim Hildebrand, or our other trainers, you can click on the Apply Now link at the top of the page, and then we will be in touch if we think it's a good match. So again, Josh and David, thanks for being here. We appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Bye-bye.